Well, hey everybody, John Rithlin here with a WWE Stomping Grounds 2019 review / rant. The rant portion concerns that main event. Nothing against Lacey and nothing against a couple of things they did. But fucking Christ, it was so bad, and Baron Corbin in the main event, you know where that belongs? It belongs in the goddamn trash. That's where Baron Corbin belongs, and Vince, that's where your booking belongs when it comes to pushing heels. Because apparently, you think that Corbin and Shane McMahon should be your top heels. Not Drew McIntyre, not anybody like that, nope. Corbin and Shane, the best in the world! So, by the way, you're getting the Unhinged Me because the Derb was at a Without a Cause show. That was a local promotion in Everett that did a show today, and he made the right decision. Now, I'm not against watching this show. It was certainly better than Money in the Bank. I was much happier with Money in the Bank up until the main event and got so pissed off by what they did. At least with this one, the card was a lot more like steady and got better, which I didn't expect because my expectations were low for this. It was at the Tacoma Dome. Apparently, they only sold maybe half, maybe 60% of the arena, which is a 23,000-seat venue. Even if you curtain off some of it because of the staging and stuff like that, okay, you curtain off maybe 4,000 seats. So that's still 19,000 seats you have to sell. I'm not sure on the capacity, but the whole point is I saw some shots where there was a giant curtain on the side where they shoot from the camera out, to the TV side. They barely had anybody on that side from where the camera shot out, which is not good. And that's Vince's fault. Now, I want to say this. I'm glad the talents went out there and tore the fucking house down in almost every single match. They deserve to. The talent has never been the issue in WWE outside of a few people. It's just been Vince's fucking booking. Because Vince doesn't fucking know what he's doing anymore. But that being said, some parts of this show were a step in the right direction, except for that main event. So let's get right into it. And yes, Unhinged Me. So yeah, you're going to get stuff that's a little bit angry here, but that's why I'm getting a little bit, fired up, because I just want WWE to do better. And some of these things were a step in the right direction. So Stomping Grounds, which of course is a show where we kick ass and take names. And the WWE towns, fist ass and take names. I think I said that right. Maybe not. Moving on. So kickoff stuff. You have the New Day, not with Kofi, obviously. You had Big E and Xavier. And Xavier is cutting a promo while, Big E's splashing water all over himself. Maybe to clarify how wet he wants to make Becky's mom. And if you don't know about that Twitter exchange, fucking hell, it's great. Good God, it was great. Good God. Big E's a fucking treasure on Twitter. Then we get a Corbin interview about the referee spot. Boring. Not what ended up happening, but the referee Corbin's just not interesting. He's not. Ricochet interview. Whatever. It was what it was. It was typical scripted stuff. Brian and Rowan are here to save the tag team division and the plant, and Brian hates Charles Robinson for coming in on his spot. Or he hates Lil Nate. Maybe he hates the fact that he faced off against Gorgeous George in 1999 on pay-per-view in WCW. Yes, that was something that actually happened. By the way, the Bucks and Blonde Gorgeous George, not the actual wrestler. I think that would have been very odd in 1999. But anyway, we get Shane and Drew. Drew deserves better. I mean, Drew kind of cut off Shane and everything to cut his promo on facing Roman later. And then we get Akira Tozawa, Tony Nese, and Drew Gulak in a three-way cruiserweight title match. Easy for me to say. I almost said a Drew way, because actually it makes sense because Drew Gulak is the new cruiserweight champion. This was terrific. This was the right way to kick things off. That arena may have only been half full, maybe 60% full at best, with some comp tickets and cheap tickets. But boy, the crowd made a lot of noise. And I will say that's great. You could tell that there weren't a lot of people there because there were some spots where people were chanting. But oh boy, when they got loud, they got loud. Gulak attacks early. Some really big high spots. Really terrific work. Some great near falls. Nese is the champion. I was expecting him to retain. Derb won the predictions, by the way. I don't know by how much because I forgot to do it. But he picked more matches right than I did. In fact, he picked the Bayley-Alexa match and the New Day, Zayn and Owens matches over me. So, he picked those and won those. So, by virtue, he won that. But anyway, the crowd was alive at times. There was, the freaking ad, though, during the match. You own your own goddamn network and you're running ads. Stop running fucking ads during the matches. You have an hour on your kickoff. Just run the ads instead of doing some of all these backstage interviews. You have 5 fucking hours of TV. You haven't been able to sell anybody on this pay-per-view. Hate to say it. A backstage segment with Baron Corbin or a backstage segment with Shane and Drew Ain't gonna fucking do it. And I love Drew McIntyre, but ain't gonna fucking do it. Don't interrupt the cruiserweights who have been fucking killing it. There were some close near falls though, 205 chance, and that was cool. Put 205 live with NXT, at Full Sail. Extend NXT by 30 minutes. I've been saying that on this channel for a while. Please do so. And I'm not saying I'm the only one, but do that. And it would be great because it would give the guys more of a chance because they already only go like 45 minutes on the shows anyway. So just run that and then they can run on some house shows. And at least it would be beneficial. You get them in front of a hot crowd. Anyway, Nice looks like he's about to win, but nope, he gets bumped outside. And then Gulak manages to pin Tozawa for the 1, 2, 3. Drew Gulak, the refocused Drew Gulak. No PowerPoints, no nothing, whatever. He is super focused. I mean, I know the PowerPoint thing was a while ago. He won. He is a new Cruiserweight champion. I'm disappointed Nice did not retain, but he didn't take the pin. So that doesn't mean that Nice can't win it back at SummerSlam or something. But Gulak winning was nice. Nice's champion was absolutely terrific, but Gulak winning didn't bother me. And then we get to the main card. We get a whole these boots are made for walking thing. It was a horrible rendition of it. Nothing against Lacey or Becky, just horrible, adding and song stuff. Not good. But then we start off with Lacey Evans versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title. I'm a big Becky Lynch fan. I'm also a big Lacey Evans fan. This was better than their Money in the Bank match. Becky is not a world beater in the ring. She does need to be with the right person to have a great match. She is good in the ring. She is not exceptional, like some people say. But if you think Becky is exceptional, there is nothing wrong with that. This is something I want to fucking lay into, though. The crowd, there were a few botches. And I mean, whether it was by one or the other or just bad communication, whatever. Botches happen. That's not what I'm going to focus on. The crowd decided to chant at Lacey, "You can't wrestle." Lacey is green, has gotten better, but is still green as far as getting this main event push. So in that sense, I would understand if fans were booing her. To say she can't wrestle, though, no, she's proven she can. That match with Charlotte was not very good on Raw. No, it wasn't. But that's mainly because the crowd just wanted Becky, or I think Becky was actually out there, so the crowd didn't fucking care one bit. And that probably threw both the women off. Does Lacey need more time as a main eventer, even if she wins the title next month? Which, by the way, shout out to Valena for calling Lacey as a special guest referee. Good job. Seriously. Valena WWE on Twitter. Good job. I thought it could happen, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to tweet it. But good on you. This match, though, the "You can't wrestle" chance, and the reason I didn't fucking like the "You can't wrestle" chance is for this reason. Lacey can wrestle. I'm not saying she's a fucking world beater either, but she is very, very capable in the ring. She is also still a little green. And it's going to take a bit of time. Is she where WWE needs her to be in the ring right now? No. Character work, yes. But that's not her fault. And to say she can't wrestle, well, hate to say it, there were some people that they were chanting for that aren't exactly the best wrestlers either. Now, that's just my personal opinion. But let's stop with the "You can't wrestle" thing. Now, I will say this. They got people to to cheer the baby faces for the most part and boo the heels. Except for one match. And I'll get into in a bit. But again, the "You can't wrestle" thing, I did not like that very much. That was pretty disrespectful. Lacey played off just fine. That was cool. Lacey did focus on Becky's ribs. Focusing on the core, beating her up, stretching her. That was some nice stuff. Becky does come back. There was a nice stunner off the ropes. Springboard stunner sort of. But, well, it looked like Lacey was going for a sliced bread and then hit a stunner. She might need to work on that move or maybe find another way to do it because her leggy frame, maybe she should do stuff more like kicks and stuff like that. And the moonsault she does is beautiful, but nothing wrong with trying new things. But maybe don't do that unless it can get a little better because then it just takes a shine off of her. But then Becky had gotten the arm breaker on at one point, but then got the disarmer, and Lacey taps out again within seconds like she did at Money in the Bank. Now I got it. Her arm was focused on before, but Becky didn't even really fully sell her rib injuries or her, injuries. So it's like, oh God, I'm not hurt. Oh, I just got this on and survived by the skin of my teeth. It sort of worked. It was better than Money in the Bank. I will say that. My issue is now they've kind of damaged Lacey. And even with what they did in the main event, this feud doesn't have a lot left to it because Becky has beaten Lacey clean twice. And that's not against Lacey. It's against the booking. But anyway, Ali video package, please push this guy. Make this guy Intercontinental Champion at one point. He should have gotten Kofi's push. The fact he didn't, okay, whatever. I don't think Vince would have made him champion. I really don't think he would have. I don't think so. But I hope Ali can get a big push. We then get a shot in one of the shot shows, a giant curtain on one side of the arena, that part that I talked about earlier. We get Heyman interview. Enough with Heyman. I don't want fucking Paul Heyman on TV anymore. He's boring. He bores me. I'm tired of it. More Corbin. Hooray! But then we get Big E and Xavier versus Owens and Zayn. Woods gets targeted immediately. And he was on the receiving end of all this tag team action. And beaten down for a while. And then Big E gets in. And then Woods gets back in. And picks up Big E at one point. Big E hits a splash. There were some nice near falls. Everybody gets down at one point. Everybody does a spot. Everybody's down. But then, big schmoz at the end. Stunner by Owens. 1, 2, 3. This was pretty good. It wasn't great. It was like a long TV match, but it was still pretty good for what it was. Alexa and Nikki, it's us against the world. Yeah, that worked out really goddamn well. We then get Ricochet versus Joe, U.S. title. Cole mentions, about Gold Bond. A little bit sweaty, a little bit sticky. Cole, you ever fucking mention that, I'm going to reach through that goddamn TV and chase you away. You goddamn idiot. I know he's plugging the goddamn thing, but I don't want to think about how sticky and sweaty Michael Cole is. He's picking Ricochet. Great impactful moves. I will say this was a bit short though. It was like they were trying to cram 15 minutes worth of stuff into a shorter match. And maybe it was 10 minutes. I don't know. It could have been a little less. And of course, at one point, Joe gets a move on Ricochet, and they say he wraps his head. When the fuck did Tacoma become Jeddah? Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit mean during this one, just so you know, because I don't really care. It had to be said. It was a cheesy joke, but then picks up at the end, code breaker, and then a 630, and Ricochet wins. Ricochet is the new U.S. champion. My only issue is, where the fuck does this leave Joe? Are we going to go with another match? The rematch hasn't happened. Or the rematch clause is supposed to be out the window. Which doesn't explain a whole lot of these matches, but whatever, I digress. That's my issue. Continuing feuds is not a problem, but half of these matches were rematches from either Super Showdown or Money in the Bank. Why in the world? I thought the automatic rematch clause, especially when the challenger loses, they go, maybe not to the back of the line, but you have a new challenger step up. Oh well. Ricochet, new U.S. champion. Backstage adulation from everybody, which was kind of cool, was kind of unique. And then Heavy Machinery comes out for their match with Daniel Bryan and Rowan. And fucking Christ was Daniel Bryan over. Man, the fans... He's from Aberdeen, Washington, by the way. And Aberdeen's about 2 hours from Tacoma, I think. 2.5, depending on traffic. Because you got to go 30 miles to about the Olympia exit. Or close to 30 miles, maybe about 25. And then you go west for a bit. Not 5 goes west, but maybe for an hour and 90 minutes. So the whole point is he's from the area. And he was going to get cheered anyway. He's trying so hard. He's trying so hard to heal it up. And the crowd would not let up. They were cheering the new Daniel Bryan. And then the crowd was chanting because of the whole, save the planet thing. Please recycle. Drive a Prius. And they were chanting some other stuff. But the crowd was on fucking point here. And on regular point. There were few cool near falls. Tucker Knight at one point, or Tucker, I think he's just called now. I think it's Tucker Notice. But he does his moonsault, which is impressive. And Bryan gets out of the way, sort of. But boy, Tucker's legs just hit Bryan, and it looked like a really bad landing. And Bryan was holding his head sometime. Bryan, please don't wrestle much longer. I know you said you weren't going to wrestle much longer, but Bryan, I want you to be able to have a life with your kid. Kids, maybe. I don't know. Him and Brie might have another one. Brie ain't doing anything. Her and Nikki retired. I'm just saying from the ring. And honestly, as much as I knock them in the ring, best wishes, honestly, to Nikki Bella. She apparently has a cyst on her brain. She has another herniated disc. Hopefully she can get all those things addressed, and she can live a long, healthy life. I may not care for them in the ring. That doesn't mean I want the person themselves to be in any kind of bad health. Especially when they didn't deserve it. Unless it's Lex Luger. Anyway, this got a little bit off topic. After some cool stuff between Rowan and Otis, Tucker goes for something. Brian rolls him up 1, 2, 3. So Heavy Machinery looks pretty strong, and then you got that going. So I don't know who the fuck else you're going to have them challenge. Unless you fuse the tag titles together and have just one set of champions go between the shows, you don't have enough depth, pushable depth in the tag team division, which is sad because they have some great tag teams. Maybe just do a unification match with Brian and Rowan beating the Revival at SummerSlam or something. Just do that. And then we get, hang on, fucking hell, God, we're zooming by in this show. This show was only, if you go from the pre-show match, like, the cruiserweight all the way to the end, 3 hours, 40 minutes. That's what they should be doing. For these B-level shows, don't go past 7:30. Well, 7:30 on the West Coast. But anyway, we then get Alexa and Nikki Cross versus Bayley for the SmackDown Live Women's title. Alexa from Raw, Bayley from SmackDown. And fucking Christ, I'm so glad that there was not a title change here, because I picked that Alexa was going to win. I didn't want her to win, but I figured she would. Why the fuck is Mandy not challenging? Ember not challenging? Liv? I mean, Ember could be challenging Liv. They've done it on house shows, and dark matches, but those women. Sonya! I mean, I can't exactly point very well. But, I mean, that's not a Sonya shirt, but, Sonya is, part of the LGBTQ community very openly, and that aside, deserves a push as well. Bayley hopefully can work with new people now. This was a bit botchy. Bayley is not a world beater in the goddamn ring either. She is capable of having good matches with the right opponent. Alexa, while she didn't do terrible, is not that good in the ring. She's not that good, and they need to kind of transition her out of being in the ring. There were a few miscues. That's going to happen. Whatever. There were a few miscues in the previous matches before, between the Raw and SmackDown Women's title matches anyway. Nikki was pulled in front of Alexa to take, a bump on this dive that Bayley did. And then later, when Alexa almost had Bayley beat, Nikki ended up distracting the referee inadvertently since she was trying to get to Bayley, and the referee got distracted. And then Bayley ended up, managing to get the win. Bayley to belly, 1, 2, 3. So we get that, and we're going to get Alexa turning on Nikki tomorrow. Unless it was just on one dream I had. And then we get the show coming to a bit of a halt. 24/7 recaps. No. Stop with the 24/7 bullshit. Look, I get it. They're doing the best they can. Everybody seems to be having fun with it, but people are like, well, you wanted unscripted stuff and you shit on this. I wanted unscripted stuff that was good. I don't like the 24/7 title. I just don't. I think it's fucking rotten. Like the 24/7 title, the whole thing, I'm just going to say, once again, belongs in the fucking trash. Do any of the talents belong in there? No. Because they're doing the best they can, but so many of them could be doing so much better. And then with that, Drake's wedding, and Drake ends up getting rolled up while down the aisle. I mean, obviously he got permission from his wife and stuff like that, and his wife didn't. Ends up tweeting that she wants a divorce. She obviously doesn't. Great on Drake, by the way, for landing her. They seem like they're a good couple. I don't really know much about her, but hey, good for them. They're happy. That's cool. I hated this. I fucking hate it. I know it's supposed to be entertainment, but I like things to be entertaining in my entertainment. And this wasn't. We then get Ricochet doing a photo shoot thing with the U.S. title. Gallows and Anderson show up. Yes, they're still employed. Then we get AJ talking to Ricochet, because AJ has, respect for the Ricochet community. I'm proud of that one. Shouldn't be, but I am. We're obviously going to get AJ Styles versus Ricochet heading into Extreme Rules and maybe even SummerSlam. But, I mean, we might hold off on that. Who knows? Because Extreme Rules is only in, 3 weeks. It's on the 14th. But anyway, yeah, they're going to already have to start building for that. Oh, fucking Christ. Oh, and then we get Drew with Shane versus Reigns. Here comes the big dog. Can we leave Cole in Tacoma and see if, maybe he learns how to do a better job? I know the Cole's just being produced. Say this, but he's so fucking bad at his job. Commentary was absolute ass tonight. The 205 Live less so, but fucking great. When Phillips and Byron are your best commentary duo, that's not saying much. Corey, let me just lay into Corey really goddamn quick. Fucking great. And here, in the main event, he was particularly rotten. I wish they just let him wrestle instead of having him do commentary. I'm sorry. The guy is a freaking embarrassment to commentary. Bobby Heenan now could do better commentary. Sure, he may be produced to say this stuff, but guess what? It's not good television, and Corey is never going to be what Bobby Heenan even is now. Bobby Heenan dead is better than Corey Graves is alive. Let me just say that much. Corey, talks about, being married, or talks about, he's married to his work. He's married to the idea of being a jerk on commentary. Well, it's the one marriage that he's loyal to. Let's just say that much. And yeah, I know that's a bit of a cheap shot, but oh well. Corey's just a fucking idiot. But anyway, this match, the crowd was either chanting, "This is awful," or "Shane is awful." I think it was "Shane is awful." Reigns got a bit of a mixed reaction. Drew's pretty over, even though he's getting booed, because he's a great heel. But, oh God, of course, at one point, Drew does this stretch or whatever, and of course, Corey's admiring Drew's length, which, have fun unseeing that. Have fun unseeing that. You won't be able to unsee it. But yeah, this just, oh God. It was good at times because they have good chemistry-ish. Drew can get a lot of good out of Roman and vice versa. But Shane kept interfering. I'm sorry, why do we need Shane versus Reigns to continue? We just should have had Reigns beat Shane at Super Showdown. We didn't need to have this feud fucking continue. We then get a slam on the announcer's table, that reverse Alabama slam that Drew does. That was cool. Shane pulls a ref out when there's, an attempt at Roman to get the win. And then Shane does a coast to coast. Shane is going to die doing that coast to coast. Please stop fucking doing that, Shane. Fucking Christ. More interference. And then, oh look, boom, boom, spear, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Shane can beat Roman, but Drew can't. That is the third match in 3 months. Well, no, 2.5 months. That Drew has had against Roman, at least on TV or pay-per-view. WrestleMania, one Raw, I forget exactly when it was. And here, I had to think about it for a second, Stomping Grounds. He can't beat him. He can't even beat him when there's a whole bunch of interference. Drew is about this fucking close to being buried. Because they want to push Shane, a 49-year-old guy that was and never was. He does some impressive shit, I will say that. But Shane should not be in this position. It's fucking stupid. It's not even hitting the panic button. It's Vince being dumb. This is where the show started to have issues. And nothing against Reigns. I knew Reigns was going to win. If it was a competitive match, okay, whatever. And it was a competitive match at times. But then Shane kept getting involved and it was fucking rotten. And then get Kofi versus Dolph Ziggler, steel cage match. You know what was great about this show? They did have some backstage stuff. The stuff with Ricochet. A couple interviews, that kind of stuff. But a lot of the backstage stuff was kept to a minimum. You focus on the ring and maybe you'll get people to tune in, Vince, you fucking idiot. Goddamn moron. Not like Vince is ever going to watch it. Not like Vince even knows how to spell YouTube or what the fuck YouTube even is. But, yeah, steel cage match for the WWE title. Ziggler is getting a WWE title shot again in 2019. And Ziggler is in black pants, and I think has an American-like type symbol on his tights. Fitting since he's a Trump supporter. But also, he's a tan blonde, guy in black pants beating up a black man in a cage. Hogan is so fucking envious and living vicariously through Ziggler here. Yeah, I'm taking a cheap shot at Hogan. Oh well. I still say Hogan's only sorry he got caught. But anyway, I digress. Decent exchanges. My problem is this match. This feud is painfully unnecessary. It just was painfully unnecessary. And there were no rope breaks, by the way. Kofi tried to get to the ropes out of an ankle lock. Wait, no rope breaks. Except last month, Shane versus Miz, there were rope breaks. So I guess as long as Shane's in the match, you can break whatever fucking rules you want. Whew! Ankle lock by Dolph, that was cool. Kofi then got his own on. We then, had a cool spot where it looked like Dolph was about to get, and then Kofi dives over him through the ropes and out the door. A black man diving over a white man, proving his superiority. That is how slavery ended in 1865. Why am I like this, and how am I allowed to even exist? Why am I allowed to joke like this? In all seriousness, Kofi beating Dolph was the right call. It was an inventive finish. I will say that. I did pop for that. That was pretty cool. Post-match interview with Kofi. That's great. And then we had Drew and Shane backstage. And Shane says to Roman, this is not over. Drew, you want Roman? We're going to face off against him in a handicap match on Raw tomorrow. Raw is going to be 20 miles away from me in Everett. I probably could still get tickets. I haven't looked. Actually, I'm currently recording this review. But I'm pretty certain I probably could still get tickets to Raw if I wanted to. I'm not going to because I don't want to fucking go. even though some of this show was good, it didn't convince me. One good show or one pretty good show does not mean that everything's forgiven. Vince has done a lot of damage to his roster and to his product. So, yeah, like I said, Drew and Shane versus Roman. Oh, on Raw, why? Okay, now we get Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. Who's the special guest referee? Who is it? Universal title match, by the way. It's Lacey Evans. Because, okay, cool. It's different. I mean, again, shout out to Belinda. She called it. It's different. It's different than people called. And I knew right away when they did this what they were going to do. I just didn't think they were going to do it so bad. Now, credit to Lacey. Lacey gets none of the blame here. She did everything she could with it. Seth Rollins, it's like dragging a freaking corpse to a match. I'm sorry. Corbin is capable at times of being decent in the ring. This was fucking rotten. Did you ever see Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Dude Love with Vince McMahon as a special guest referee at Over the Edge 1998? Well, here's a whole bunch of it, only way fucking worse. The more things change, the more they stay in the fucking Attitude Era because Vince is fucking locked in the past. This match is one of the worst matches of the year. Period. And again, no fault of Lacey. Lacey did everything she could. I got what they were doing because eventually they were going to have Becky come out and attack Lacey. But here's my problem with it. If you were going to have Lacey do that, why didn't Lacey just beat Becky? Because then Becky would have had a reason to come out. Besides just to help her boyfriend, that kind of stuff, because her boyfriend can't beat Baron Corbin, who can barely beat himself. Yes, have fun on seeing that. So the crowd was chanting. Now, I will say Lacey looked goddamn good in that referee outfit. Lacey is a bright, beautiful, statuesque, intelligent woman that is quite good in the ring. Again, her character work right now may be above her wrestling ability. I think Lacey is quite good, and I think she gets a bit of undeserved hate. Quite a bit, especially the you can't wrestle chants. I will say, though, as far as the match, because they were chanting stuff, they were chanting, this is stupid, AEW chants, CM Punk, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. The crowd hated it. I don't necessarily know if they hated Lacey being the referee, but I think they knew what was going to happen. This is where the pay-per-view came to a fucking screeching halt. The pay-per-view was closing in on an A-. Closing in on it. I mean, at least to me. Because it was goddamn good. Even with some of the bullshit. It might have actually been a B+. But this brought it down. Quite a bit. Like, this brought it to a screeching halt. Rollins could only do so goddamn much. Corey says that, well, unfortunately for the WWE Universe, their opinions don't matter. Corey, if it wasn't for the WWE Universe promoting the fact they wanted you on commentary, you'd be probably, laying on the couch drooling all over your goddamn self because you would have kept wrestling. So you might want to thank the fucking fans, maybe not me necessarily because I don't give a shit about you, but you might want to thank the fans that actually did support you, because otherwise, and thank the fucking company, because without the fans, you wouldn't be anything. I mean, you aren't anything now, all you are is a fucking, with a fucking home record, but whatever, I digress. And granted, I shouldn't be the moral compass when it comes to cheating, but whatever. So, yes, we get Corey saying that bullshit. Crowd was just shitting all over this. They did not give this a chance. Rollins was put in an unenviable position. Then Lacey, because we obviously weren't doing Austin versus Dude Love Over the Edge enough with Vince McMahon, you got the Stooges at ringside for that one. With this one, Lacey is telling Mike Rome, I think, oh, this is no count out. And then suddenly Corbin starts using a chair. Wait, it's no DQ. And then she slaps Seth. And then he tries punching Corbin. And then she hits a low blow. Deep 6. And then Becky runs down. And she runs down and attacks Lacey about 18 hours too late. And that's nothing against Lacey. Nothing against Becky. They want to continue this feud, fine. I think they left a lot of steam. They left a lot of steam out of it. I'm going to finish this up because I'm fucking pissed. John Cone comes down. He's a referee that apparently screwed things up at Super Showdown. The only thing he screwed up was not screwing over Baron Corbin enough in that. But, yeah, Corbin gets stomped. I really, really hope that hurt because maybe it can knock some sense into Baron Corbin. 1, 2, 3. Seth retains. Thank fucking Christ. Put Baron Corbin right down to the mid-card where he belongs. Do not put him... They're going to put him in another main event at Extreme Rules, aren't they? Christ. Becky and Seth, they celebrate. Cool. B-. I will say that this pay-per-view, again, exceeded my expectations. I was prepared to give it like a D. maybe even possibly a D-. There was enough good shit with this, but B-. Because I'm sorry, that the Drew Roman stuff and this main event in particular were just bad. Oh, it's supposed to make the fans mad. Let me just be really, really quick here before I go. It's supposed to make the fans mad. There's good heat, and then there's whatever the fuck they were trying to do with Baron Corbin here. Because Corbin's just not interesting. They don't want to see him as champion because he's not any good. And even if he was good, he's not interesting. Get Seth some better goddamn challengers. Have Drew stop this thing with Roman, destroy Shane, and then go after Rollins and beat him at SummerSlam. Why the fuck not? So anyway, B-. Yes, poll up there. I'll probably put it up there way earlier. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I am John Ritlin. Shocked by how good Stomping Grounds was until that fucking main event, which, by the way, belongs in the goddamn trash. I will see you tomorrow for Raw, folks.